And we are live. All right, our Jane's not going to get to make it. She's in the bathroom sick, so we're going to have to cover her. We're going to have to cover her segment tonight, which shouldn't be that hard. We're just sharing the fact that the new law that got passed in Florida, where it's now mandatory that if you get convicted of animal abuse and animal cruelty, you're no longer allowed to own pets and animals. Which, like Shrubby said, whenever we were talking about this the other day, off behind the scenes, shouldn't that already be a law? But unfortunately,
honestly, you would think it would be, but people are too stupid for that.
well, it's been left up to the judge to decide that in all these cases. And now, some states have set it up to where no, it's now mandatory, and I like that. Hey, Siggy, Siggy,
dude.
We just started.
It's too early to bring out the spray bottle, man.
No,
Hang on. May I?
Yep, here it is. Come on,
Siggy. I'm only going to say this once. Who the hell starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Bad Sig Volson. Bad Siggy. Bad Sig.
All I can say is you brought it upon yourself, man.
You couldn't have even waited until we were live for 5 minutes. We're not even 30 seconds into the stream, and he's already got the push the button thing going.
My guess is he was holding on to that all day, Wavo. He was holding on to that all day.
Yeah. He says, at least I can't hear anything. We love you, Sig Valdison. We do. All right. Since we're going to just quickly do our animal rights update of literally this law is, DeSantis is on a roll. Signed into law about you're not allowed making it illegal to leave your animals behind in emergencies, which I'm hoping also means that shelters can't turn you away if you show up with your pets or your service animals like they've been able to do in the past, which is the biggest reason why so many people feel they have to leave their pets behind whenever they're being evacuated, which pisses me the hell off. And y'all know how our Jane gets pissed off about that shit.
It's called the trooper law.
My bloody tab muted itself. Oh, he got it fixed. Sweet. Yeah, trooper's law. And DeSantis is, like I said, he is on a roll getting this shit done. This dude, I want to see him run for president because of the good stuff that he's pulled off in Florida.
Yeah. A little background, Richard.
Yep.
Okay. Back in 2024, during the latter part of the Great Unpleasantness, Florida had a couple of hurricanes that came in like back to back. But this one specifically came by our West Coast friends in the Tampa, St. Pete, and lower Panhandle area. And one of the things that happened after the fact was that a Florida Highway Patrol person who would have otherwise been helping people who were trying to get out of the storm's path happened to come across a hapless animal tethered to a fence along the highway in rising water. Okay. It was captured on his body cam, and it made it to local TV after the storm was past. And you can imagine the hell that ensued after the fact. Okay. because this particular animal was probably one of the sweetest animals. Just the look on that dog's face,
Yep.
okay, would melt the Night King's visage.
Yep.
Okay. Even the Night King wouldn't have turned him into a walker. That's how sweet this dog was. So just, setting the stage for why this is what it is.
Yep.
Go.
And to me, this stuff is big to me. Anybody who's been on my channel for a while will know you don't screw around with kids and you don't screw around with animals. Both of those they rely on us adults to be there to protect them. Okay? Yes, also the elderly. You don't screw with the elderly. That shit pisses me off because y'all know I took care of my grandparents the last 3.5 years of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And as their health deteriorated and I had to take on more and more responsibilities of taking care of them, it wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody keeps telling me it was the most righteous thing I've ever done, but it was also the hardest thing I have ever done. When the biggest turning point in my life with my father was about 1.5 months before Granddaddy died. And I was getting stuff ready to start cooking dinner. I was washing up a couple of dishes before I started so I could wash up the vegetables before I'd start chopping them up. And Dad came in and he said, at first, whenever your grandfather would introduce us as his sons, I felt jealous until I watched everything you've been doing, how you have completely put your life entirely on hold just to take care of my mom and dad. And he hugged me because when I looked up at him and I said, it's been the hardest thing I've ever done, and I don't know if I have it in me to do it again. And he looked me in the eyes, and at first he was hurt until he saw in my eyes just how exhausted I was. And he hugged me. In my life, I can count on one hand and have many fingers left over of the number of times he reached out and hugged me. And he held me while I cried. And that night, Mom said that he came home and he cried, went into the bathroom and cried because he didn't realize just how much that it was taking out of me until Mom told him, and because Grandmom and Granddad told him that I'd set up the baby monitors in their room. So I would take the monitor into my room. So if they needed anything, I would know it and be able to respond as quickly as possible. And the fact that I was catnapping, I wasn't having full night's sleeps. In fact, the full amount of sleep I got was the 2 hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays when the care nurse would come by to help take care of my grandmother and my grandfather, because the nurse was coming in to do medical stuff for Granddad and his cancer treatments and helping with my grandmother and her treatments. And so for 2 hours, I would go to sleep, and I would actually sleep hard as hell. And Dad didn't know that. He did not realize that I was just going days without any real sleep to be there for if anything went wrong. And once he realized that, that was a big change. And I couldn't do anything less because I still remember what happened with Nanny when she went into the retirement home and how they treated her. And I was not going to let that happen to Grandma and Granddad because it was bad. It was really bad. But anyway, you don't mess with the elderly, our children, or animals. We're here. We were given dominion over this earth, which means we're responsible for the animals. We're responsible for kids. We have a position of power and authority. That means you can't say, if you screw something up and throw your hands up and says, oh, well, I'm only human. Guess what, boys and girls? That's not an excuse. It's an indictment. We can do a hell of a lot better because guess what? We're fucking human.
Mm-hmm.
And Siggy says, may you be rewarded for your service, sir. May God and his son Jesus bless you. Thank you, Siggy. But like I said, that's my personal opinion. That's how I look at life. I don't want to force anybody to live the way I do. If you're going to do it and do it right.
So I got a question for you, Richard.
What's that?
How come PETA hasn't come out and made a statement about this law?
Politics. Pure and simple.
I rest my case.
Because
I rest my case.
I've told this story before here in North Carolina. Unfortunately, Fox Hills isn't here, and Alice and Crazy aren't here to confirm it because they're also from here in North Carolina. PETA was going around gathering puppies and kittens from various shelters, saying that they were going to take them to new homes. And what they were actually doing was taking them out around back and then killing them and tossing their bodies into the dumpsters behind the shelters. And they got caught doing that shit. If you don't believe me, go Google it. And Siggy, I'm not insulting anybody by calling them humans. God made humans in his image. He made us, and then he had the angels bow to us, which is what caused Lucifer and a third of the angels to rebel. Never forget that. We just haven't lived up to our potential yet. But I have faith in what God does because God doesn't create mistakes. But that's my opinion. PETA, an organization that started with good intentions, now is an evil organization. Very true. Should have made us into elves like Tolkien described. Yes, I that would be awesome. I would love to be an elf, that's for sure.
PETA, much like the initial concept of DEI in its original incarnation, is something that is a weapon that started out with good intentions, but
Yes.
as soon as it was created, it immediately fell into the wrong hands, and has since been used exclusively, universally, only for evil.
Yeah. And division, big time division. They keep saying, oh, this is to be inclusive and create equality. No. They don't. It's equity dumbass, that you're using the word, not equality. And inclusion, I'm all for inclusion. I'm all for diversity. But equity, that basically is enforcing exclusion of keeping people out of positions, all because of historical imbalances, when we should be looking at what's best. The best person for the job should get the job.
Talent,
Exactly.
not physical appearance or political affiliation.
Exactly. The
What
person,
kind of talent can you bring to the table?
if you can do the job and do it at peak levels, it's yours. That's how I look at it. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what giblets you got between your legs, what giblets you wish you had between your legs, or what giblets you want other people to have between their legs so you can get jiggy with them. I don't care what name you call God or if you even believe in a God. None of that shit is important. Who you are is what's important, not what you are. Each person is an individual.
Yep.
The biggest minority group on earth is the individual, because each person is different. Each person is unique. Too many people keep focusing on the cover of the book, not the content of the book. That's where we screw up.
But that's where the vast majority of folks have focused on. It's why we have things like influencer culture. I mean, that's. I'm trying to remember. There was a philosopher. For some reason, I'm thinking this was hundreds of years ago. Said that at some point, culture would reach a point where the appearance was going to overtake substance, and that people were going to focus on the appearance and the superficial over the substance of any matter, which is why conversations like this are important, why they matter. Okay. One of the things that I'd like to say that we fashion ourselves of, regardless of what we're talking about, sometimes it sounds a little ranty, sometimes not, is that we're focusing on substance, not just superficial matters. We'll dig into things a little bit more deeply, which is what traditionally you would do when you were sitting around with a campfire trying to stay warm, away from the elements, fighting away the other things that might otherwise come and do you harm. You were able to commune. There you go. There's the word, the real word, okay, with the people around you in a substantive fashion. Why? Because you had the commonality of we really are all in this together. Okay. And that equality was based off the fact that we hadn't built up the rest of civilization around us to shield us from the harsh reality of things going on around us, which is why we can have the kind of conversations here, Richard and Nuevo, that other channels can't. We're not as big as the other big guys, but we don't need to be able to have a conversation where somebody can get past the superficial.
Yeah. And that's the whole point of this channel.
And that's what matters. Really.
Now,
we'll grow.
And we've got plenty of room to grow. And that's the part that I love the most about this, But like I said, our opening story was about this animal rights update and how awesome it is. And I'm sorry we got sidetracked. But let's go to our next session. Oh, Casey's here. Hold on, guys. Let me bring Casey up. Hey, Casey.
Sorry for the delay, guys. I I've not been doing real well all day, so I was debating on doing this, but I couldn't let this go by without at least being here for a few minutes.
It's all good, brother, man. You know how
Even
it is.
even if you weren't able to show up, you still got us praying for you.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate it. It's just now I got some kind of a cold, and it's kicking my ass.
Yeah, it's do it. My
And,
sister's going through that too. That's why she's not here right now giving the animal update. But our next story is up. We've got this next segment is going to be led by Wavo talking about Lucasfilm, Nintendo, and a Hasbro update. We got 3 big updates coming.
As of right now, I have a second Nintendo update to add to that. Something I just learned that I find quite interesting.
Hot
But
off
we'll take care of the main thread first.
All right, go for it.
So starting with the obvious. And thus there was much rejoicing among Lucasfilm and Star Wars fans. For the evil empress that hath plagued the land for eons, Kathleen Kennedy, the Wicked Witch, at last is gone.
Woohoo!
And thus there was much rejoicing.
Yay!
Yep.
Now, of course, it is a known fact that her replacement,
Dave Filoni, the baloney.
Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni is taking her place. Now, it is many people view him as a traitor because the whole Ahsoka thing turned woke. I am willing to hold out the benefit. I'm willing to hold out the benefit of the doubt for him, because I think it may have been a situation where he kind of played the part and bided his time to get the role. But now that he has full control, he has the reins, and she's gone, he can do what he wants.
Yeah, that's my hope.
That is nothing more than a theory.
Remember my old saying here: hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yep.
Because Favreau has said that Filoni he's a company guy. You know, whatever the company tells him to do, he's going to do it. And for the longest time, he was George Lucas's protege. They worked together to create the Clone Wars. And the Clone Wars did really well. And a lot of people, you know, Ahsoka was created by both George Lucas and Dave Filoni. It was Lucas's idea, and Filoni went with it and developed her into what she ended up becoming. Now, I love Clone Wars. I've got it right there on my wall because I've got the complete every season that came out. I bought that stuff, and then when they did the whole thing, boom, it's there. I bought it, and she was one of my favorite characters. She was one of the better breakouts from the Clone Wars, just like Captain Rex was a really good breakout character. And so, yeah, it's really cool. Oh, Casey Siggy says, bless you.
Thank you, Siggy. Hey, Richard. At some point tonight, if I can stick around, could I have a couple of words about Starfleet Academy? I saw something today that really pissed me off.
Oh God, don't worry. That's our fourth segment is going to be Marcelo giving his Starfleet Academy review, and you can put yours in as well when we do that.
Okay.
All right. Next up, tell us
part two.
Part two. Come on. Let's see it.
Part 2, we have a double-edged sword coming out of Nintendo. So, Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser has retired. Doug Bowser, the man who's single-handedly responsible for turning Nintendo of America into one of, if not the most litigious company in history, has retired. In his place, they have brought in a middle-aged liberal woman by the name of Devin Pritchard. Now, I'm going to put my own 85 cents, give or take a couple dollars here. There is a vast majority of the people on the internet who are calling Devin Pritchard Kathleen Kennedy 2.0. Claiming that she's going to do the same thing to Nintendo that Kathleen Kennedy did to Lucasfilm. Okay. Now, me and Marcelo Lopez were talking about this before the stream, and then I have to make it clear that while Nintendo of America is responsible for localization and translation, Nintendo of Japan is still the head office, and they still have the final say in everything. Now, it could be that this is just a simple way hyper overreaction due to a gag reflex caused by people like Kathleen Kennedy being in great abundance in North America. It could be a complete overreaction, or it could end up actually going that way. She just took office in December. We've yet to see her do anything yet.
Yeah, like I said, this is a hope for the best, prepare for the worst moment.
In the words of Mikhail Gorbachev, trust but verify.
Yes, exactly.
Okay?
Yes.
I will be watching, all right? Because like I told you in the background, we've got some folks out there, which I will keep nameless, who are already harping on the hype train about how woke this person is. I'm going to go on the record, and you're going to hear this first. You can research this you want, okay? I've done a fair bit of research on this. There is nary a public statement, video, article, write-up, blog post attributable directly to this person that corroborates that this person is somehow leading a Cracker Barrel style campaign with Nintendo. Okay? I'm not putting it out as a challenge. I'm asking them to put up or shut up. Okay? Freedom of speech and all, but put up or shut up, folks, because I've been looking around for a bit, and I think I'm pretty good at searching things and researching things, given my background, and I've yet to find corroborating evidence that this person is who some folks out there who are quite well connected and famous and have large followings are stating that they are. That being said, I'm with Wavo on the side of we will be watching.
Yep.
Because it's not just a matter of being, it's not a matter of just having come off of having the most litigious CEO, okay? It's also how they have been completely tone deaf in the transition from the Switch to the Switch 2, and yet now starting to kind of backtrack some of their original stance, are still continuing to screw it up. Okay, it's very simple, Nintendo. I'm gonna lay it out to you straight. If I pay you for a game, I own it, not you, not some server out in the cloud. I own it. I want to own it. I want to have the physical media. I want to be able to pull it out of my machine, store it for 5 years, come back to it, and still be able to play it.
That's how I feel about my books on Kindle.
It's just that simple. Okay? If you can't get hip to that, you can't have my money. That's it. I'll just go on the record. If you're not hip to that, well, let me ask you a question, Wavo. Now that you put it out there, hold that up in camera focus, okay? Folks, if you're seeing this, why are games like this pull it back? There you go. Why are games like this having such a resurgence? Why are there so many retro consoles out there being sold? The answer is very simple. I pay you my money. I own my game. End of story. Period. End of sentence. End of paragraph. Case closed.
Yep. If this right here.
Right? Exactly.
No DLC. No DLC. No extra. No paying for extra content. You go to the store. You buy this. You take it home. You pop it in your console. That's it.
Exactly.
That's all you need.
Exactly. You got what you paid for. You paid for what you got. Okay. You know, and if the gaming companies can't realize that, honestly, that's where the future of the money is. Okay. Mm-hmm. I point you at the fact that people are now pointing at purchasing Starfield again for no other reason than to not buy Starfield's DLC, but to download 100 gigabytes of Star Wars mods to it.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I paid for what I wanted. You gave me for what I paid for. What I do with it after the fact is my freaking business. Nintendo of America, get hip to that. If you want to make back market share, that's the way to do it. Not what Amazon is doing by talking about that the future of gaming is all running off of your AI farms out there. Hell no. I'll go back to playing my Amiga games if that's going to be what it is.
Yep. I can oversimplify it even more for those of you out there who may find this in the future who can't grasp that concept. As Doomcock often says, without respect, we reject.
Yep.
That will always be true. If you are not courteous enough it's not even about courtesy, it's about common sense. If you don't have the brains to know that you need to respect your fan base, you need to respect your customers, then eventually they will wisen up and their wallets will close to you.
Exactly.
Let's double click on that for a second, Weibo. Why do you think Xbox is in the pickle that they're in now? They're in that pickle because they didn't think about what you just said. They've been disrespecting their users for the last 6 years. What did you think was going to happen? That doesn't mean that PlayStation hasn't done their fair share, but they really only have been doing that for just a little while, and theirs will come. Okay, Sony's comeuppance will come as well. Okay, but Xbox's situation has been coming for the last 6 years.
Yeah, Ubisoft is in the same boat.
May I please make a point, though?
Yeah, go for it.
Yes.
I agree with everything you fine and esteemed gentlemen have just said, but there is another thing that we have to keep in consideration. And that is that if we as a consumer base are willing to put up with this shitty, slocky treatment, then we deserve what we get. So
Can I get an amen, brothers and sisters? Can I get an amen?
So
amen.
We have to be able and willing, and I don't mean just like without respect or regret. We have to be able and willing to walk away from these companies who don't give a shit about us. Now, I will also say, I mean, I know this is jumping a little bit, but if I could go back to a point a moment ago, just so I don't have to keep cutting in here and coughing on everybody. As far as Dave Filoni and that other woman are concerned, I don't know anything about that other woman, so I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. But to be honest with you, other than Clone Wars, I have seen nothing from Dave Filoni that made me want to stay on Disney Plus. I saw nothing.
What about Rebels?
I saw that on YouTube. I didn't even go to Disney Plus to get it. Rebels was okay, but Rebels was kind of drawn out, in my opinion, especially in the last 2 or 3 seasons.
He's got a point.
The only thing,
he's got a point, Richard. He's got a point. It got kind of especially that last season. I gotta tell you,
that last season was so contrived. It was so boring.
Yeah.
And when you looked at the rest of it and how good it was up until then, and then it kind of self-destructed in the last 3 seasons. And I'm like going, okay, so what we're going to get from him is something that starts good and then falls flat on his face. Because to be honest with you, I don't honestly think he can run a show.
What I think happened there is, okay, he was the main showrunner throughout the Clone Wars. And if you look at and for Rebels, when he was in control of it, it was really good. But then when you started seeing the influences coming in from outside, it really started fucking with it.
Well,
because remember, there was a whole bunch. You remember the Clone Wars, the lost episodes was all the stuff they had already been working on.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get that, and I know people liked it, and that's wonderful. If you liked it, that's great. But I'm one of these people. If you can't put it in the first time, and I got to go back and watch stuff just so the stuff that you gave me makes sense later. That's just my.
What I'm saying is the lost episodes of Clone Wars were the continuing, because they ended the Clone Wars early because of Kathleen Kennedy coming in and taking over. And remember, they moved it from Cartoon Network to the Disney channels. Yep. And once they did that, Kathleen Kennedy basically told them they had to end it. Problem was, they had scripts and had already done animation for several seasons and multiple episodes during those seasons.
Yep.
And they had the roughs already done, and they leaked those roughs onto YouTube, which caused enough fan outrage demanding that they wanted it, that literally shamed Kathleen Kennedy into allowing them to finish these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they were referred to as the Lost Missions. And they were really good. The stories for the Clone Wars was really getting really, really good.
This is why, if you have someone heading up, and I'm sorry I stepped on you there, Casey. I'll shut up. I'll shut up in about 60 seconds.
No problem.
This is why when you have someone who does not know / respect / I'll go on the limb and say love the lore of these sorts of things, okay, they should have no place, because if they recognize that the public is eating this up, they will make bank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They will make bank. There you go.
Look at the AI stuff that's been coming out on YouTube, all these Star Wars AI videos, which is basically AI fan fictions that they used AI to put out there.
Dude,
They're so popular. I truly believe this is one of the reasons why Disney finally had enough of Kathleen Kennedy and showed her the door, was because all of these fan fictions that were using AI, using all of the original characters, was extremely popular.
Richard, I want to hear. I want to hear what Casey has to say, but I'll say this really briefly. They didn't have enough lawyers to start enough litigation against all that fan fiction. The fan fiction overwhelmed their ability to litigate it.
Yes.
That's why they had to give in.
Yeah, especially at this point, because realistically, if they want to have long protracted battles with small creators, they can do it, but they're just about broke as it is. If you look at it from just Disney Entertainment as a company, they could draw money off of anywhere else. But honestly, if you look at the bottom line, I think they're pretty well broke.
Yes. Like I said, Disney finally had enough of Kathleen Kennedy, because everybody has been saying, oh, Star Wars is dead, Star Wars is dead. But these fan fiction and fan films are so popular and people are eating them up.
Dude, that's what I'm trying to get at, right? The future of Star Wars is not with Dave Filoni. It's not. I'll tell you who it is with. It's with people who honestly give a shit, like the fans. They are giving fans on Disney Plus the opportunity to put out their own full-length shit if they want to, because that would save them. But nothing else will. I have to tell you, what I was going to say was that I'm glad you enjoyed, Clone Wars, and I enjoyed some of it. But honestly, I wouldn't go back to see more Dave Filoni anything. They tried to give him the reins in the Mandalorian, and he could, because when
What did we get, Casey? Say it with me.
We got Vespas.
We got Book of Boba Fett. That's right, man.
Yeah, we got Vespas.
Remember, guys, that wasn't just Filoni. That was literally Kathleen Kennedy. Because we referred to her as the Eye of Sauron is upon us.
Dude, what I tried to tell you, with all due respect, is that basically it's like this. They already did this to all this, and as much as you like to give Filoni the benefit of the doubt, he was involved in this. I didn't see him doing anything because he was too busy trying to cover his own ass and keep his job.
True.
So my thing is,
Favreau. What my hope is that Filoni now being in charge means that Favreau will be allowed to do his thing.
What they should have done, honestly, is offer John Favreau the job. They should just give him anything he wanted and got him to come back. I don't care if you had to bankrupt the company 5 times, because I could tell you that at least, I didn't necessarily like all the pacing and the length of the Mandalorian, but I could see that he was trying.
Yes.
Favreau
is a fan. And that was his biggest saving grace, was the fact that he loves Star Wars a big time. And my thing was that Favreau came in to fix it. And as we saw with the return of Luke Skywalker, remember how people came back to Star Wars because of that. And even people who had been pro Kathleen Kennedy in the company got to see how bad Kathleen Kennedy hates Luke Skywalker, because she lost her ever-loving shit over that. And we can talk about this later, because this is one of those big-time story let's talk abouts, because Kathleen Kennedy, Ding Dong, the evil witch is dead, and I'm happy that she's gone.
I'm sorry, I'm never going back. They burned the bridge one too many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get it, Casey. I really do.
Yep. You have the departure of Kathleen Kennedy, the coming in of someone who could potentially be Nintendo's Kathleen Kennedy. Maybe, maybe not. Then, hey, Shrubby.
Yo, Shrubster.
Then part 3 of this story, of this whole story, completely unrelated, not at all in any way having to do with anything got to do with the previous parts of the story.
And no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
But us.
Hasbro's board of directors has brought in as a new member none other than Mr. You get a lawsuit. You get a lawsuit. Everybody gets a lawsuit. Doug Bowser. Doug Bowser is now a member of the Hasbro board of directors.
How's about them apples?
Yeah. Now, unlike Devin Pritchard, Doug Bowser has a known established history.
Yeah.
I already mentioned he is the one single-handedly responsible for turning Nintendo of America into one of the most litigious companies in video game history.
Okay, then I'll ask you this, Wavo. What property is holding up Hasbro by its short hairs? Go.
I'm going to say Transformers.
Nope.
No?
Nope. It's Star Wars.
Star Wars is killing it.
Yep.
Because you can't sell Star Wars toys right now.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And that is what had been making them money after Endgame. Okay?
Yeah.
In the lead into Endgame, Marvel characters were selling like freaking gangbusters. After Endgame, Marvel had to take its place. What did we get after that? Oh, let's see here. Let's count that.
Captain Marvel.
Casey was talking about. Okay, no, wait. We got to go back. Rewind a little bit. We got Book of Boba Fett. Let's see.
Yep, that failed.
We got a little something called Ahsoka. We got a little
The Acolyte.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And you spoiled it, Wavo. We got the Acolyte. Oh, we almost forgot that one particular series that was totally forgettable.
Obi-Wan.
Skeleton Crew.
Yep, Skeleton Crew too.
Skeleton Crew.
Okay.
I forgot that even existed.
Hey, the Skeleton Crew, there was one set thing that they put out for Skeleton Crew that actually sold pretty well. And that was the Lego Skeleton Crew of their ship. That sold pretty good.
But
dude, that's not Hasbro, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
So the question
Hasbro
here is
Star Wars has really messed up Hasbro so bad. They were actually talking about getting out of making toys.
But it is what has kept Hasbro afloat. That's where Wavo and I were going. It's what's kept them afloat, and now they've brought in a known entity to crash and burn and scorched earth a company.
Well, I can go off on Hasbro big time because of what they did with Wizards of the Coast and a couple of other properties that they've ran into the ground. I mean, one of the biggest reasons why Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons is so much messed up is because of Hasbro's micromanaging of the role-playing game stuff. Hey, Fox Hills, if you can make it, hop on in.
Yeah.
But like I said, Hasbro, right now, the thing that's making Hasbro money is, like Wavo said, Transformers. G.I. Joe.
I think it's Star Wars still that's making them their money. I want to see receipts if it's different.
Now,
So much of the
Star Wars,
so much of the
Star
Star
Wars
Wars toys are ending up in Ollies.
That's
That
what I
it's
mean.
not even funny.
Star
what I
Wars can't make them. Star Wars can't be making the money if it's not selling.
But
Yep.
dude, here's another point though. If you think about it, I mean, when you look at the Transformers toys, all the good ones are not being made by this company.
Yep.
All
Right.
the ones people actually want, like Theta, all the ones Theta has are things he bought from Japanese companies that are off builds, but
Bingo.
they're better and more desirable than the Hasbro toys. So they can't be making money from those either. So
Bingo.
it's either six of one, half a dozen the other. Whatever way you look at it, they're in the shit. They're in the shit pile.
Exactly.
That's with Hasbro. All right, the things that Hasbro has been doing, especially when it comes, like I said, the Marvel toys was making them some pretty good bank too, up until a certain point. And if you'll notice, just like with the Star Wars toys, it's them pushing the toys that nobody, making action figures of characters nobody wanted. Now, Hasbro went to Lucasfilm after the Mandalorian episode that brought back Luke Skywalker. They literally were on their knees begging Kathleen Kennedy to allow them to start selling Luke and Grogu toys, action figures, and play sets. They were begging and pleading, let us do this. And of course, what did Kathleen Kennedy do? She said what?
No.
No. She would
Also, not to cut you off, but we Griffin TBK in the chat. He's here, but he's not able to read the chat at the moment.
Uh-oh. Let me see. Can he see it up on the screen? Or is it too small for him?
He just says can't read chat.
Though.
But either way, he's here, he's lurking.
All right. If he wants to, if DBK wants to hop on to the panel, he's more than welcome.
Yeah, I did send him a link. Or did I send him a link? I don't know if I sent him a link or not.
Make sure, man.
Yeah,
but like I said, Hasbro begged and pleaded with this, and Hasbro had a toy set for the Mandalorian that they had just released of the Razor Crest, the Mandalorian ship, and then right after they released the toy, what did they do on the show? They destroyed the Razor Crest. And they had spent buku amounts of money on getting that toy made and ready and out there. Hasbro is still upset over Grogu because Kathleen Kennedy would not allow Grogu toys to get made for Christmas because they didn't want it. They were like, no, we're not going to release anything. And what was the most popular toy that everybody wanted for that Christmas was Grogu. So much so that there were people on Etsy. What's that thing where you got the little hooks in the yarn?
Crochet, yeah.
People were crocheting Grogu dolls and selling them on eBay and Etsy and other places and making bank on it.
Oh, yeah,
and the
making a damn fortune.
Yes, and Hasbro was fuming because they wanted to have those toys ready for that Christmas so they could make Star Wars profitable again.
Well, all I know though is that from like talking to Theta and everything, and other things I've seen online, it's like even when they do make toys now, when they do get when they do get the ability to make the black signatures, for example, they make the black signatures, they overprice them, and then when you see people take them out of the boxes, not only do they not articulate, but they actually. I saw one guy. He took it out of the box so gently. It was like it was made of eggshells, and he literally, because he thought that it was going to be movable. The whole thing literally broke when the guy took the arm. He didn't even touch it.
That's just wrong. That's just wrong right there.
But that's the thing. Even when they're doing it, they're not doing it with the quality that they used to do or Kenner did in the day.
Wow.
And another thing is they way overproduce this shit.
Yeah, they make.
Know they know they're not going to sell that many, Fox.
But
they know they're not going to sell that many. Come on.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. The reason why they make so many of them is the fact that Disney and Lucasfilm was forcing them to make so many of the ones that they knew would not sell. That's why that happened. Now, hold on a second. Since Casey brought this up, give me a moment.
You mean I did something right?
You always do. You talked about the black label.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, I'm not saying that all of them are like that, Richard, but I'm saying that I heard a lot of complaints about people that bought the new edition black label that they put out as Mandalorian toys, and I saw things where things were actually breaking, and the guys were like, I paid a lot of money for this, and
You hang out in the same places on Reddit that I do, Casey.
You know I do, buddy.
I saw that. Yeah, there was a big
collection.
Posting
I
broken.
keep them in this to keep them safe because they are fragile and they shouldn't be. They're toys.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. A collector culture has grown to the point where playability has taken. I mean, it's not even the back of the bus. They're out in the trailer, hanging from behind the bus.
Yeah,
okay.
It used to be when you bought a collector anything, you knew they were going to give you the best thing they could give you because they were charging you top dollar at the time.
Correct.
For what they could get, so they wanted to make sure things articulated, things move. If we have a great comic, we want to make sure that the comic is made to look great from high heaven. Back in the days before we had all these people doing fucking variant covers. You know what I'm talking about, Marcelo. Leave it around.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm just gonna leave it right there. Things were meant to be played with. Okay. I remember throwing a G.I. Joe doll up in the middle of the air as high as I could just to see him come down and have that parachute deploy.
And you know what?
It didn't matter that it was going to hit concrete. That thing was meant to be thrown up with all your might hundreds of times and still come back, be able to move around and not lose an arm.
What I did to my G.I. Joes.
Go ahead.
Go for it, Fox.
Go, Casey. Go.
What I did to my G.I. Joes when I was a kid was unthinkable. But I'll tell you something. Those guys, they lasted.
You want to go with unthinkable, man? Come on. There's a family show here, brother. It's a family show right here.
I'm talking, like I would take my Tonka toys, I would lay them in the ground, I would make like the Tonka toys were like, enemy trucks. This was back in the day before they even had Cobra. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like, you just run them over and you do anything with them. I had my little sister who used to chew on the heads, and those motherfuckers came out.
Hey, and the funny part is that after getting run over by the Jeep, G.I. Joe would get the hell back up, dust himself off, and say, "Yo, Joe."
Yeah, you know, and he would look like he actually did when they were in the field. You know, there wouldn't, you know, and it's like nowadays you buy this stuff and the stuff falls apart. And you're going, what the hell are you supposed to do with this?
Before you take it out of the box.
Yeah, I can pass this along.
This is why I want to do a Let's Talk About Toys as just a big deep dive on talking about toys. Because this has been one of my big bugaboos for a while is I buy these action figures because I was buying these toys to be able to play with my kids. And
you got to leave them in the box because you're afraid they're going to fall apart when you take the plastic apart.
Yeah, and then they've gotten so bad about it that basically you have to leave them in the box if you want to pass them along because they're not worth anything after you take them out of the box. Yep. So even if you want to collect them and put them on your shelf, you can't even do that because if you do that, it lessens the value.
Yep.
What good is having a toy you can't play with?
Yep.
Or even just put it somewhere where you can look at it.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, that just goes totally against it, you know.
Why do they make the trouble of putting all those fancy plastic stands on the thing so you can stand the figure up if you can't even take it out of the box because it breaks?
All right.
So what's the breaking what's the breaking news, Wavo? Let's go.
Okay. So this was just announced today. To the best of my knowledge, this was just announced today. Kensuke Tanabe, who is a producer, a game producer for Nintendo for 40 years, has announced his retirement. Now, we're talking the guy who worked on games, OG games, Doki Doki Panic, which became Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening, Donkey Kong Country, Kirby's Dream Land 2, Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, Super Mario RPG, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. He worked as a producer and director, scriptwriter, course and map designer, supervisor, screenplay actor. He even for Shadows of the Empire, he even helped with translation. We're talking an OG veteran from back in the heyday of Nintendo.
Of course, but
has announced his retirement.
But of course,
what you're telling me is Nintendo just got a whole lot worse.
Now, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
No.
This is only half of the news.
What? What do you mean half the news? Hang on. What else? How bad could it get?
His replacement has been announced. A young lady by the name of Risa Tabata, whose works include WarioWare Touched, Super Smash Bros. Brawl as a supervisor, Punch Out for the Wii, Donkey Kong Country Returns, Mario Kart 7 and 9, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Paper Mario, Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Okay, I can count 2 games worth my time and money and all that. That's it. 2 games. That's it. So,
and bear in mind, for both people, I didn't even read off half of the list.
I don't know, man.
But
I'm not positive on this.
She has been Risa Tabata has been with Nintendo since 2001. So she's a veteran as well. And she has been announced as the one who is going to take Kensuke Tanabe's place.
Okay, I'm put up Shrubby's coming on there, Richard. Put up Shrubby's. Yeah, okay. I would hope the student is really ready to become the master and has not forgotten what she's learned to make good games.
And
And
Shrubby's
doesn't-
right.
and doesn't-
Watch them
and-
like fucking hawks, man.
And doesn't succumb to the pressure.
Hey, crazy horse.
Okay, that's what I'm going to say to that comment, that she doesn't succumb to the pressure. Okay, because on that list I could only count 2 games that I would have said, yeah, I think I even only own one of them. Come to think of it,
Yep. But Smash Brothers Brawl, the original Smash Brothers Brawl, she was a supervisor. Smash Ultimate, she was the original supervisor for Smash Ultimate. She was in most projects, she was either the producer or the assistant producer. For Luigi's Mansion 2, she was the project manager. But she does have a good deal of experience behind her. So I look forward to this with
I'll be hopeful, but
with what's the exact phrasing I'm looking for? Cautious optimism.
Yeah, cautious optimism works.
there you go. That'll work.
Plus, trust but verify.
Thank you.
We're gonna watch like hawks.
Thank you.
Because damn, that's intense.
Yep.
You got to be careful, man, because Japanese culture, it has not completely gone unaffected by the craziness over on this continent. Okay,
Sadly enough,
they consider they're the only folks who have a real Splash Mountain still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the only folks. They're the only folks who have a real Splash Mountain still, and long may it stay that way. All right, but they're not completely unaffected. And so I would hope that whoever becomes her understudy does not bring any of the crap that's been subjected to us into their thinking, so that any future generation of Nintendo games don't go through an Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Here's a game. Here's a game that I think everyone here who is cultured in video games and has any sort of style will recognize. Metroid Prime.
Oh yeah.
that was a good
Jesus
game.
Christ.
That was her first.
Bring that up.
That was her first project. Her very first task was to assist Kensuke Tanabe in supervising Metroid Prime.
Okay, hold on a second. This is necessary.
Golf clap? Golf clap.
Because that is a good thing.
Okay.
She
That's
was
what-
Metroid's a good game.
That's
I like
legit.
it.
No, that's legit. Passes the legit test.
Yeah, good for that.
Well, our
That's
next
legit.
segment is this.
I know you're not looking forward to this one.
Yeah, Don Lemon and the mob of anti-ICE protesters invading a church during church services.
Where do I begin with this?
All right, before we go, this really upsets me on multiple levels. But the one that really gets me is if you look in the background of the video, you'll see a father comforting his son who's terrified and in tears because of the people coming in to their church while they were having church services with megaphones, cursing, just all the horrible shit that they were doing. You guys know how I feel about this sort of subject.
Richard, we don't usually delve into religious matters here, but I'm going to give you one word and one word only: synagogue.
Yeah. If this had been any other house of worship, and these chuckleheads had done this, everybody would be up in arms. But then again, at the moment, there are Christians all across this planet being killed, raped, and murdered. Their houses of worship are being burnt down, and a whole lot of other horrid crap going down. And nobody is talking about it in the mainstream media. And it really burns me up. Because I stood up when the Chinese started rounding up the Uyghurs there in China, which is an ethnic group that are predominantly Muslim, rounded them up, put them in a concentration camp, have been working them to death, have been sterilizing their women. I'm not turning I will not turn the camera on because I don't want people seeing how pissed off I'm getting. You don't do this. What they did is a violation of the First Amendment. This is not peaceful protest. This is not peaceful assembly. This is pure and unadulterated terrorism. I'm sorry if you don't like how rough I'm being in my wording here. But that's what this is. And it's why the Department of Justice is looking at using the KKK Act and prosecuting Don Lemon for being part of it. He can't say, I'm just a reporter reporting on it. When he was, quote, unquote, interviewing the preacher while this was ongoing, he was being a belligerent douchebag, making excuses for the mob going into this church. If the reporters who were reporting about what happened on January the 6th could be thrown in jail just for reporting on what was going on inside the Capitol building without any kind of legal protections for being a journalist, just reporting on the news, filming it and broadcasting it and not saying a damn word, this chuckle no nuts needs to go to jail. And it's a violation. And Agent DBK, you got it right. Kilfing DBK got it right. This has nothing to do with the First Amendment. It's a violation of a bunch of laws. It was trespassing. It was terrorism. Because what they did was politically motivated. And they were using fear and terror to try to change people's actions.
Correct.
That's the very definition of terrorism. And no, son, I would not be making excuses.
Right. So let's break this. Let's break this down from a logic perspective. Okay.
Be careful. Be careful with that word. You know what Shelby always says.
Well, it's too bad. I don't care what. I don't care at this point. We took care of bringing out the bottle within the first 90 seconds. He gets what he gets. Okay. But let's be clear. If this had happened to a synagogue, if this had happened to a mosque, we would be having a very different conversation right now. Okay? We in today's society in the United States, we cannot think differently because the facts are what they are. Yep. If this sort of behavior had been tried by a set of people on either of those two major religious beliefs, by any people of any persuasion, we would be having a different conversation.
Yep.
Okay. It would be on every channel being talked about by everybody, and we wouldn't have to be talking about this.
But what cheeses me off about all this stuff has been the fact that they're protesting ICE doing their jobs of rounding up people who are here illegally and are all convicted criminals. They were out there rounding up people who were responsible for human trafficking, sex crimes, and crimes against minors. With the SA put on top of it, to minors. That's who they were rounding up. Now, ICE was begging and pleading with local law enforcement to allow them to just come and pick these people up out of the jails when they got arrested. And the locals in all these sanctuary cities and states said no. So they're having to do what they're doing. It's one of the reasons why I have been debating doing a deep dive on this stuff, because we wouldn't be in this situation if one of the political parties wasn't playing political fuck games right now. If they would put the country and its citizens first for a change, things would not be as bad as they are. If you can't tell, this is upsetting me, because I am a big believer that if you want to come to this country, but do it right. I went through hell trying to get Emma and my eldest child here legally, because you're supposed to file the paperwork when you marry a foreigner for them to get their green cards and their visas in the country you get married in. And guess where we got married? We got married here in the United States in front of a magistrate here in Union County. So, did everything the way it was supposed to be. So, it upsets me. Yes, our immigration policy needs to be changed. But guess what? It's not as bad as people keep saying it is. If you want to see a really draconian immigration policy, go look at the Mexican immigration policy. It is really draconian. Even if you become a citizen of Mexico, because you're a foreign-born citizen, you can't own property on the shoreline. I think it's 50 miles of the shoreline. You can't own property. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes with it. So, yeah. I was married to an illegal immigrant because we were trying to do it the legal way. And every time we turned around, we got screwed over, and we finally got fed up with it.
Yeah.
I've been talking about the reforming of the system since you were born. So yeah, this is something that really touches me personally, and I've been talking about it for years. I just have a platform to talk about it now. Yes, Zachary.
Honestly, Richard, you should have put up the rant banner.
Yeah,
for
I'm
that.
sorry.
Yeah,
but like I said, that's my rant. But now we're going to go ahead and move to something fun. Marcelo and Casey are going to get to talk about their reviews of Starfleet Academy.
Holy shit.
With all due respect, I would ask that Casey go first because I'm gonna go scorched earth.
Okay,
All right.
buddy. Let me explain something to you. I don't want to mislead anybody. I have not seen this shit show, but I saw something today that so greatly upset me that I made a point of remembering it because it's the stupidest fuck thing I've ever seen. Marcelo, did you by any chance see a little article by our friend what was Picardo, Robert Picardo?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Now that I got to tell you, I mean, if I held out any hope for the show, and I hold out none whatsoever, but just to hear him telling us that Star Trek was always woke, it was always woke, and that the only reason that the show is failing now is that because a bunch of people that I don't even want to say it, but it's like it basically comes out to a bunch of people on one side have decided that they're going to weaponize this so that they make it sound like they're beating us over here with a cudgel. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, you dumb, pardon me, Richard, but my first thought when I heard this was, you dumb motherfucking asshole. Because quite frankly, the person that is beating people over the head with a cudgel here is Robert Picardo. He is telling us that because we may not like what has been done to Star Trek in the last 15 or 20 years, that the reason that the show is tanking is because of things.
He did do. He's been on Orville, and he was on Stargate Atlantis. Nothing big and out there because he's mostly a television actor, which is hilarious because he got his start doing movies because he played the cowboy in Inner Space. That was funny as all get out. He got his start doing comedy movies, and then has taken himself way too seriously.
Well, I mean that's.
No.
That's
I actually had. Go ahead, Casey.
When he starts talking about the whole thing about woke was originally that people were supposed to wake up and take responsibility for seeing the world around them as it really is, and then I'm going, you know what? That would be wonderful if you guys were practicing what you're preaching, but you're not. You're blaming all of us for the fact that you've decided to push so much agenda, so many messages into things that they don't even resemble what they're supposed to look like. And if I bet you, if I could go back with my necromantic powers and channel Gene Roddenberry, he'd fucking agree with me.
Yeah. See, Roddenberry stated that he made Star Trek to be aspirational, to aspire to you to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Not to focus on what made us different. That was the whole point of indefinite diversity and indefinite combinations. Everybody's different, but we're all good,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I actually had a discussion with a Twitch streamer buddy of mine all about this whole thing. And I have long held the stance that there are two different types of woke. You have the good woke, the real woke, the dictionary definition, simply being aware of the plights and struggles of minority groups. Then you have the bad woke, what we refer to as woke, which is what all of Hollywood and the vast majority of companies are.
Yeah, and yet they're blaming us for the fact that we espouse the good kind. I want to see a world where people are given the opportunity to do whatever they want as long as they have the skills and abilities to do it.
You guys ready?
Okay, hit me with it, buddy.
Bludgeon me over the head with it.
Okay. Hit me with the background there, Richard, if you don't mind.
Yep, there you are. You're on the big.
Okay. No, I was talking about the other background with the teleprompter. But that's okay.
Oh.
I'll go with what we got. Okay, folks. I was around when Star Trek was socially conscious. That was called the 1960s. Okay? People forget that being socially conscious was recognizing that we are different and that different about us is what made us better. And I mean better as in more capable of achieving more together. Okay? What we see today is effectively divisiveness, regardless of what people say. What we see today is divisiveness. It's not social consciousness. I lived through the decades of a rising social consciousness. You don't need to tell me what social consciousness was. I lived it. What we have today is narcissist consciousness. What we've been subjected since Alex Kurtzman took over Star Trek as a thing, and maybe even before during the tenure of J.J. Abrams, is not social consciousness. It's narcissist consciousness, where every potential whim that someone could have that gives them a dopamine hit makes them feel confident, relevant, like something where they matter, regardless of whether it's imagined or objective truth takes precedence. Okay? It doesn't matter who you're sleeping with. It doesn't matter what melanin you have flowing through your upper dermis. It doesn't matter what kind of hair you got. It doesn't matter what kind of facial structure you have. It doesn't matter, okay? The crime wave that we've been subjected to, okay, is one of narcissist consciousness, people. Okay? We went from Star Trek to Star Trek The Next Generation to Star Trek My Little Pony to now Star Trek Sesame Street. What we're seeing is effectively Degrassi and Degrassi The Next Generation set in space or set in a sci-fi world. Okay? It's not science fiction. These are not characters that you want to empathize that are trying to take humanity into the last frontier. These are not these characters. Okay? The frontier they're trying to take us in is to narcissist consciousness, where we have to accept every person's desire to think that they matter by making us think they matter. That is the Star Trek that we are seeing today. Hopefully, we will only be subjected to one season of this, and hopefully, under Skydance, we'll be able to move somewhere and explore new worlds where no one has gone before.
Mm-hmm.
This has been the Son of Mars giving you the straight news.
Marcelo, I got to tell you something. Not only do I agree with that, but I got one last thing I'll add. Under the society that these people want, if we're all supposed to accept that everybody is important, everything about everybody's important, then you know what that means? Nothing about anybody's important, because we can't go next to somebody who thinks they're more important than we are.
Yep. And I'll go you further. This is a maxim in philosophy, Casey, that has been known to philosophers for more than 2,000 years. Okay? Plato recognized these things.
Yep.
Okay? I forget there's an old phrase, but it actually goes back to a philosophical statement who I can't remember who said it. But basically, if everybody has to go to the door through a door at the same time, no one's going through the door. Okay? That would be a modern way of saying it. Okay? Not everyone can fit through the door at the same time. And yet this is what these folks are asking us to accept, that everybody can go through the door at the same time.
Well, you know what the weird thing about that is, Marcelo, if we were to adopt that fallacy, basically we'd have no society left, because there'd be no internal structure left, because everybody would be knocking the hell out of the walls that form our society, because they would all got to get through the door.
We would revert back to that one fundamental basis. Okay? One of the challenges that we have today is that our success has fed into that one basic thing that has existed before capitalism, before socialism, and that is greed. Okay? For as long as there have been more than one human wanted something more than the other human. Okay? I don't get religious, okay? But if you look at the story of Cain and Abel, what was it? It wasn't envy. It was greed. I want what that one has. That one has something that I want. Okay? Greed has been around for as long as there have been humans. And that is underlying to all this sort of stuff. All this sort of stuff. What we have today is not social consciousness. It's narcissist consciousness that is being asked of us.
See, what it is they want what they want to hear coming out of your mouth. They don't want to hear what you have to say unless it's parroting what they want to hear. That's the problem. See, Star Trek, I love Star Trek. That's what I grew up on. Star Trek was like comic books, was made to inspire you to be greater than, you know? And it's frustrating that they've turned it into something that has all become about check boxes, and that's pretty much it. It's like, oh, we need to have somebody who's this. We need somebody who's this, and we need somebody who's this, and check. And they push all, they just focus on the message and push everything else out of the way just so they can get the message as the big deal.
Okay, that's because the message is what makes them feel worth who they are. That is their sense of self-worth, Richard. Yeah. The fact that they are presumably doing something that counterbalances their immediate sense of greed that they don't recognize. Okay? Because you'll see a lot of people say, oh, meat is murder. Okay? Yet they don't recognize that to live a totally vegan life, you have to kill substantively several orders of magnitude of insects
Mhm.
to live a vegan life. And the
Which will
problem
make
is insects are what normally feed those things that feed the flowering plants that feed a vegetarian lifestyle.
Plus the fact they keep ignoring that the shells or the carapaces of said insects are poisonous to us when they build up in our systems.
Mm.
That's the
Yep.
whole thing of you will eat the bugs and you will like it. Completely ignoring the fact that the toxins within the bugs build up in your system and will kill you. Yes, it has more protein in a tiny few bites than anything else, but it will kill you if you eat it on a prolonged basis. Look at shoot, he's the beetle that's still alive, McCarthy, that also played for Wings. Him and his wife became vegetarians, and they forced their dogs to be vegetarians. And the veterinarians kept telling them, you need to stop this. They need meat. We cannot give them enough outside vitamins and everything else to keep them healthy. They need to eat meat in their diets. And they refuse to allow them for that.
Carnivores were meant to be carnivores, and canines are carnivores. It's not a it's not a subjective fact. It's a biological fact. Their digestive systems were meant to process not just meat, Richard, but bone and sinew.
Yeah.
Their genus, okay, canis, has existed for millions of years and has evolved to be able to process bone, to process sinew. Okay? They're not just meat eaters. They're, hey, as long as it's not entrails, eat it. But unfortunately, being humans, whatever guilt we're carrying around stops us from permitting these animals from being who they are. For whatever reason,
Ringo Starr's still alive. I thought he had passed away last year.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. Ringo Starr and Paul McCarthy are both still alive.
Yes, they are.
Yep.
Yes, they are. He's still alive. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Ringo was one of my favorites, man, because he was just fun.
I'm just going to go on the record, okay? He'll never admit it, but I am certain, okay, that whenever he's not around Barbara Bach, that boy sneaks in a ribeye. Please.
Yeah.
Please. It's okay, Ringo. I know you're not listening to this, but on the off chance, it's okay, brother. We got your back.
See, but like I was saying, Paul McCarthy and his wife did that to their animals. And after his first wife died, there were so many comedians that did a joke saying, kids, I've got bad news and I've got good news. I'm going to tell you the bad news first. Your mom has passed away. Oh my God, that's so horrible. That is horrible. That's horrible news. Yeah, I know. But Dad, what's the good news? We're having steak for dinner. That was the joke. It was literally, we're having steak for dinner. And the dogs were like going, about damn time. Oh God. But like I said, you don't do that to animals. That's just when you allow your ideology override basic common sense. It goes into that whole allowing an irrational hatred overwhelm rational mind and common human decency. And it frustrates me. I look at the world pretty straight up, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just really messed up. Now, Starfleet Academy, all the teaser stuff I saw for it, I pretty much said, nope. Especially when they were showing the female Jim Hadar Klingon crossbreed thing. Trying to do an R. Lee Ermey Full Metal Jacket moment.
Nope. I took the hits so you don't have to. Okay? I sat through both of those intro episodes on slow-mo, looked at it, listened to it. It is contra canon on so many levels that if the 600 or 700 years between the Dominion War and this show have done this to whatever culture that was, oh hell no. Hell no.
Because I'm sorry, even when I was in boot camp, if somebody was saying the stuff that she was saying, I couldn't have stopped laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is supposed to be Starfleet Academy. This is supposed to be a more advanced age.
Well, and also, what the hell is the War College?
Yeah.
I didn't want to go into all the details. I didn't want to go into details, Richard, but what the hell is the War College? Section 31 decided to have their own university?
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, but supposedly in the lore or the canon of Star Trek, of Starfleet, things like oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Things like the Annapolis, things like Camp Lejeune were not supposed to exist in the Starfleet Star Trek universe.
Well, if I remember right, Annapolis and West Point and places like that were no
Exactly.
longer producing. That they had been turned into schools. You know,
Exactly.
They still existed in schools that provided planetary security forces.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's just really, like I said, they've really messed it up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons why this is the last gasp of Kurtzman Trek.
Yep.
And the new people that's in charge that has bought everything up have come out and pretty much laid bare that all the Kurtzman Trek stuff has got to go.
Right. Here's where I'm remiss to mention it in this stream, but here's where I'll give someone some props, Richard.
Yeah.
A while back, DC had made a video or had spoken about in a pop culture breakdown about how it was probably necessary that Paramount, quote unquote, and this is my words, get it out of their system. Okay? In other words, for whatever reason, there was probably some poison pill thing in Kurtzman's contract that would have just completely sent them to the cleaners unless Kurtzman got this series out of his system.
Yeah.
My estimation is that we are being subjected to this for no less of a reason of Skydance is getting it over with.
Yeah.
They're getting it over with. We would have to pay some stupid money to not put this on the air, and it's probably cheaper for us to subject the fans to this tripe than to pay Kurtzman what he doesn't deserve.
All right, we got DBK for a few minutes here. Come on up, brother. Tell us what you got.
I just wanted to get on. Marcelo is on the stream, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I could explain in the behind the scenes why it was important for me to just be on a stream with somebody named Marcelo today. But it's just kind of a fun coincidence. But yeah, I just wanted to weigh in on the Ringo thing. Ringo announced his 2026 tour just a few days ago. He's still with us. If there's only one living Beatle, it's Ringo. Paul may or may not have died in 1964.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what
Yeah.
I've been saying.
There are a lot of conspiracy theorists out there saying, yeah, that ain't Paul. But
Yeah,
Paul robbed us. Paul and his veganism robbed us of a brilliant Weird Al parody of Live and Let Die. Chicken pot pie.
oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Paul literally said, "No, I can't be a part of this because I'm a vegan."
Yeah.
We're said, "Well, yeah," and
Look, even
he said, "Can you make it tofu pot pie?" He goes, well, that kind of kills the cluck
Yeah,
cluck
exactly.
cluck 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 that I have in mind for the. So yeah, it didn't happen. You might occasionally catch it or part of it at a live show.
Look,
But yeah, it'll never get recorded.
The only Beatle that
Chicken
had
pot pie.
the only Beatle, and he ended up divorcing her. The only
Right.
Beatle who had a halfway on her game spouse was George Harrison. Okay, because Paul McCartney, hello, Ringo Starr, hello, John Lennon, hello.
Right.
But even Yoko Ono, you want to eat meat? Yeah, man, that's cool. That's no problem. Yeah, no problem. Go ahead, have some meat, man. Even with all her craziness, she didn't pull that crap on John Lennon. Okay? Come on.
Yeah. I'm. Whew.
So
I could actually now my brain is actually trying to put together a Live and Let Die parody of chicken pot pie.
don't struggle with it, man. You'll be thinking about this for weeks.
Oh, dude, it almost writes itself. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
If you need evidence, I know Al has talked about it to Adam Reeder. So look at the Professor of Rock channel.
Yeah.
He's got a few interviews with Al, or an interview spread over a few parts, and Al's talked about it to quite a few people. But I definitely remember him talking about it to the professor. But I just want to swing in and say hi. Like I said, I've been running around for damn near 12 hours, and now it's time to have some breakfast. So
hey man, if you were here in North Carolina, I'd make you something.
no, I don't. No, my own ribeyes are. I mean, people go, "Oh man, it's the best I've ever had."
What about? Have you ever done these tomahawk steaks? I keep hearing awesome things about.
I've not done one myself. I've had them.
So Richard, there's one tidbit that I in trying to go stream of consciousness, I forgot to mention during my talk about Star Trek Academy, and I apologize going back to that. The reason I connected Kurtzman with J.J. Abrams is because in the second episode of Star Trek Academy, and again, I haven't gone frame by frame, but I work hard so you don't have to. There is a species that came out in that, hey, we didn't know that Star Trek movie was coming out, Star Trek Beyond. There was a character in that movie that somehow has a descendant in Star Trek Academy. Okay? If you look at the assembly picture in the second episode of Star Trek Academy, you will see a character that you saw briefly in Star Trek Beyond. Okay? That's the connection for all you Star Trek weenies. All right. So whatever you're thinking, it's all connected. This has been the plan all along to take away Star Trek from the rest of us.
Oh yeah, they made no bones about it. Kurtzman in particular, but yeah.
Well, Kurtzman, I mean, this dude's already stated the fact that he wasn't that big into Star Trek, and he didn't care about the lore. I think the only reason why he got into it was the platform. And it was
Well, I mean,
big.
not just Kurtzman, but back in '09, J.J. Abrams said the same thing when he got into Star Trek. He was talking about how he was really more of a Star Wars guy, but if he, since the opportunities presented itself,
Hey,
I'm just glad he's no longer
the
the Hollywood golden boy. So anyway,
the man wanted to get paid. Okay,
that's right.
the man.
Don't we all?
Okay, before you go, BBK, you got anything you want to hawk?
I'm not ready to launch my next channel. I do have a couple of things I'm thinking about bringing out on my Griffin DBK channel, but as I always say, don't like, don't subscribe, don't comment, because I don't want your money. Send your money to folks like Richard and
Casey.
Waryevo and everybody else. Yeah,
Theta.
don't send it to me because
Theta.
I don't want to have to report it. It gets complicated.
Hey,
Yeah.
you want to
Risk
know
breaking
funny,
that veil
Christy?
of anonymity I've kept up for so long.
You want to know what's funny? And I'm sorry if this is going to offend some people, but I was telling the joke that I started working on my taxes for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, according to my taxes, I owe a foreign country $776.
Oh shit!
Because the money is just going to go outside the country. It's not even going to.
yeah.
It's not even going to go to the U.S. Treasury. It's going to go right to a foreign country because that's how they roll.
Oh yeah. When I write the check, I'm just going to make it directly out to a Somalian daycare and in Minnesota and be done with it. All right, gentlemen, thanks for having me on. Take care.
Be good.
Glad to have you,
man. DBK.
Glad to have you.
Hey, remember, brother, you always have a seat by the fire. Now, to get back to it, I mean, damn it, a chicken pot pie song, man.
Get it out of your head, Richard. Get it out of your head. You'll never get past this unless you get out of your head.
I'm trying.
Yeah, go ahead and write one.
Yeah, get out of your head, man. Hey, you know what?
It's so awesome, man.
I think Casey had something else going on in his head, and we kind of preempted him. So, Casey,
don't even worry about it, Marcella. That song I did just got to me, and I'm thinking already, okay, how do I do this? But no, it just seems to be that really what it comes down to is, like I said, I've never seen this, but the clips that I saw, I mean, the opening episode looked like an episode of Glee when they're all dancing around in the courtyard.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on. The worst part of it is, I don't even think the people at Skydance could save this because it's been so thoroughly degraded that I know, there again, I hate to be the wet blanket here, guys, but there again, I don't think I've been a lifelong Star Trek fan, a lifelong Star Wars fan. These things were things that made up the core of my DNA as a nerd, okay? But I can't, in all good conscience, go back and invest time that I haven't got. I mean, I'm 61 years old. How long do you think I got to live before they develop a really good storyline and something that I can get sucked into?
Yeah, sadly, I still remember when all this stuff got started, and I just, oh God, it does. It cheeses me off big time about how these idiots have run stuff into the ground. It's like both C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien said about evil. It can't create, it can only corrupt and destroy.
And that's more true than even they could have realized.
Because these people, I mean, I've actually thought about doing a live stream where we just get around and we cast our own Star Trek TV show. We come up and create a whole ship and crew and major people by just sitting around and coming up with it, brainstorming our own concept, just for shits and giggles and fun. And it just really one of those things. Son of Mars.
Marcelo Lopez is heading out the door.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Got to get the old man battened down, so I'm going to let you guys go. Peace out, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next Fireside.
All right. Love you, brother.
Take care, man.
See you, man.
Good one.
Marcelo, sometime I want to talk to you. We can arrange it in private.
Well, we definitely will be able to set that up for you, brother.
I'd appreciate it.
Because we're all here, sitting by the fire, shooting the shit, talking about the issues of the day that are the week that matter to us. We try to talk about it straight up. We don't try to put on airs, try to act like we're somebody we ain't. You can hear my Southern come up a lot. Just like, damn it, Chicken Pot Pie, man. That would have been an awesome fucking song.
Can you see the video of him, the gun shootout carrots?
God, yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. Paul McCarthy. Oh man. I've never wanted to kick somebody in the nads so damn bad. You bastard.
I never did like his ass. I never did like him.
I'm trying to focus, Shrubby. I'm trying to focus, I promise. I am so focused, I'm not gonna make a Brad Williams joke. Just for you, Shrubby. That's an inside joke, everybody. That's an inside joke. But anyway, I was going to do a mini deep dive into the Greenland issue, but we really don't have time for it because that was going to be a good 10 minutes.
Now, I have to ask, doing a little bit of research here, are Paul McCartney and Paul McCarthy two different people, or are they the same person?
Yes, they are two different people.
Okay, because I see Paul McCartney, and on the list of Beatle members, but I don't see anything about a Paul McCarthy anywhere.
No,
hey, are you going on my speech impediment?
No. I have heard many people say McCarthy. It's not just you. It's a common thing.
No, it's McCartney.
Yeah.
I never went to speech in school.
Well,
because I've heard, because you're not the first one I have heard say McCarthy.
Yeah. Well, like
it's a thing that I've wondered about for years.
Could make a little Brad Williams joke. Brad Williams is one of my favorite comedians.
I love Brad Williams.
No, it's McCarthy.
On my short list of
McCartney.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's on my short list of my favorite comedians. Not because he's short, but because he's one of my favorite comedians. But yeah, we'll do a deep dive on the Greenland issue later. I'll actually put put stuff together to do the deep dive like we did the yoinkening, because there's a lot of stuff about what's going on with Greenland that it really gets to me that nobody's really talking about it. And those that are talking about it aren't being heard. And I mean, Urebo Garcia, we've got this base that was on an island that was owned by the British government. And they just turned around and gave that island away to a country that was right next to it. And this is one of our biggest strategic bases in the Pacific. And it was on somebody else's property. And it just got given away. And right now, we've got only one place in all of Europe that we can park our nuclear submarines. And that's in a town in northern Scotland. And it's the one place that we can put our nuclear submarines and our nuclear missiles that are in that theater. And the Scots don't like nuclear weapons or nuclear vessels. So they're already wanting them out. Then you add on the fact that it is a known definite location of a nuclear missile target, which is another reason why the Scots don't want it there.
You're exactly right.
And also, you have to look at the strategic location of Greenland. Don't look at the map as we see it. Look at the map from looking down on the North Pole, and you will see the fact that Greenland is at an equal distance between North America, China, and Russia. It is in a strategic location that makes it the perfect location for the Golden Dome system. I've got somebody who's going to hopefully get to come on here who's a Danish. He was in the Danish military to discuss this. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes in it. The United States isn't wanting to conquer Greenland. We want to buy Greenland. There's a big difference. Plus the fact, one of the reasons why we want to buy it is we don't want to build a massive base there for the Golden Dome and then turn around a few years later and have the king of Denmark decide, or if heaven forbid, they got rid of the monarchy and turned into some other type of government, we lose it. Because it's going to be a cornerstone or a keystone base within our defense network for all of North America. And quite possibly Europe as well, because the Golden Dome technology would be a benefit to our NATO allies as well. So yeah, this is all this is about. Is it's something that Trump wants to do, and everybody who doesn't like Trump is coming out screaming, no, we can't do this. We've got to put a stop to it, all because Trump is saying it. It's one of the reasons why I wish Trump would do a nice big rally and come out there and say, yeah, I love this oxygen stuff and breathing. It is so amazing. Smell that good, clean air. Oh, yes, it's wonderful. I just love breathing. And within 48 hours, I think all of our problems would be over. Because people would be, well, I'm not going to say it because it might get a strike of why we wouldn't be having any more of these problems. But you can guess. But yes, guys, I'm just, yeah. But thank you guys for coming.
Maybe some people like mushrooms. Who knows?
Oh, yes. Okay, let's get ready to start hawking stuff before we head out. So first up, we're going to do Casey's Creepy Creations. Tell everybody where they can find you, brother.
Hello, and thank you for having me again, my friend. It was another scintillating conversation. If you want to find me, you can find me over at the Writer's Tomb on Casey's Creepy Creations, where I really do plan on giving you more stories. Forgive when you go there if you hear anybody coughing from underneath the ground. And don't worry, it's just me. I think I'm coming back to life or something. And boy, does it hurt.
And for those of you who don't have this link, here we go. Did it go through?
Yep.
Yes, it finally went through. All right, cool.
Love each and every one of you. I hope they come by. We subscribe. You subscribe. We get to know each other. Because it's all about you guys. I really want to make stories for you guys. One of the things I need to know is there I go, trying to come to life again. What I really need to know is what you guys want and what you guys like and don't like.
Siggy, you're really going to make me do this, aren't you? Hold on, guys. I got to do it. Siggy wants it. I swear to God, I think he likes it. Bad Sig Volderson. Bad Siggy. Bad. Bad Siggy.
No, you did take the frosting out of there for yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, the frosting's still in there. We do love you though, Siggy. We really do. All right, now it's up for Wavo to hawk his stuff. I know he is on hiatus, but we still want to send him love and our thoughts and our prayers, just like we're sending our love, thoughts, and prayers to Theta, to Casey, my little sister who couldn't make it tonight. And we're going to have to send some thoughts and prayers for Crazy Horse and Alice because they're up in the mountains of North Carolina around Lake Lure. And our weather's about to get really messed up for this weekend. Isn't that right, Fox Hills?
Yep, we're gonna get an ice storm. Looks like.
Oh, goody.
Yep. Okay, Mavo. It's the floor is yours.
Yep. Y'all been here long enough. You know where you can find me. Just plug my name and that little purple circle down there at the bottom into your YouTube search bar. You'll find me. I am, as Richard said, currently on a brief hiatus while I deal with some health issues. However, that does not mean I am not still hard at work. I do have a video that I have scheduled to come out next week. It's not much, but it's something.
Hey, every little bit.
And I have other projects. I have other projects in the works.
Yep. Now I'm going to give you guys. Forgot. It's Fox's Hills' turn to hawk something just to say hi.
You know I ain't got nothing to hawk. You know I ain't got nothing to hawk.
Well, I'll tell you something you should hawk, Fox. I'll give you something to hawk. I think people should go find you because you are one of the nicest people I know, and I think that you should at least do something to show them just what kind of a person you really are.
Yep. You're awesome, Fox. You're one of my...
And besides, anybody can pull off the Robin Hood get up the way that you do, man. I mean, that takes skill. That takes style, bro.
Yep. Well, I'm going to give everybody a little...
Casey.
I'm going to give everybody a little health update, even though my health hasn't been that good lately. Something that Wavo and I was talking about before we went live today. For the past few days, I've been doing artwork. I have been drawing again. And
he has been doing a lot of it, and he is doing a really good job.
And Wavo even said I've been happy. And that's been because of all of you. I'm getting inspired to draw again. And that's a big deal for me.
Well, you know what? I may have to send you some of mine, Richard. a lot of people don't know this, but I'm an artist too.
Really?
It was what I originally went to school for, actually, before the government told me that there were a couple of things they would not pay for, and art was one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that discussion too. It wasn't cool.
So if you wouldn't mind, I may take a little time and throw something together for you.
Well, thank you. Please do. Send me a copy of your avatar that you got there, so I can draw a version of it for the avatars whenever I'm doing thumbnails.
I will try to. The thing is, all I've got are the two copies, the two images that Data gave me that I used to do the image that you see. So I don't know how to get them off of, to get one of them to you. Like I say, I am the most computer illiterate person on the planet. I have no clue.
All right. Well, we'll
I
see if
know
we can
one
make
person.
it.
I know one person who is more computer illiterate than you.
There is
That would be my grandmother.
Well, I was
You know how to work.
You
You know how to work OBS. You know how to work OBS. You know how to use a microphone. That is more than can be said for her. She doesn't even know. My grandmother doesn't even know how to use a basic padlock.
Yeah. Well, everybody, know that I love each and every one of you, and it's time to wind down and to get into getting ready to head out. I do love each and every one of you. Now, I say this because it's true. Let's go out there and be the positive change that we want to see in the world. Let's share the things that we love with each other. Talk about this stuff. Let people see why we care so much about pop culture. Let people see why we adore this stuff, why we love Star Trek, why we love Star Wars, why we collect the toys, why we do all this stuff. Share that love. Show our kindness, show our compassion. Because this world definitely needs a whole lot more love in it. And the only way we're going to change anything for the better is by actually going out there and doing it. And let's hope that by going out there and doing it, by being a positive change in the world, we can inspire others to do it too. This world needs something to aspire to. Let's inspire people by being good people. And if we do that, even if we don't inspire other people, our good acts does change this world, even in a small, minuscule way. And history has proven time and time again, even the smallest kindness and the smallest acts of love can change the entire world, even if we're only changing it for one person. Y'all be good. And remember, you're not alone. And you were most definitely loved, because I love each and every one of you. Be good now.